Hey guys, welcome to Naledi Dilena. It's your girl Naledi and I hope you enjoy this video. On my channel, I do a lot of social commentary in regards to Zimbabwean society. This means that I break down and share my opinion on some of the things that I observe in our country. Today, I will be talking about prosperity profits. That particular term, I know I am not the original person or the original maker of that term. However, I can't remember where I got it from, so I can't really help you there. However, prosperity profits, which I'll explain to you in due time, is something that I've seen taking a prevalent place in Zimbabwean society. So in this video, I will be talking about who prosperity profits are, as in what are they, what do they do, and how their rise has affected Zimbabwean society. A prosperity prophet is a person that claims to have spiritual powers / gifts / insight that they can use to ensure the richness or goodness on other people's behalf. Basically, they usually say that they are anointed by God, the God of Christianity, and their anointing allows them to set things right in people's life, meaning give them prosperity or the things that are rightfully theirs as a child of God. The thing is, they operate under the guise of Christianity, but when you further look into their doctrines, you'll see that the general trajectory of a Christian's life and their doctrine that they give to their congregation are two different things. With prosperity profits, you have to pay to access them. Now, I do understand that in general, pastors and preachers need to be paid, especially if they're doing it as a full-time job, as in they're doing full-time ministry. However, prosperity profits are expensive or have very specific requirements when wanting to access them. Stuff like having to book an appointment with them that is several $100s to book in advance. Such things. Another thing about prosperity profits is that they also have very specific requirements on how to access the anointing or how to access the power that you need to prosper. So that means eating certain things or drinking certain substances. Maybe they give you a bottle of a liquid, you pour it in your bath water, bath twice a day, and bada bing bada boom, you have your money. So that's kind of who prosperity profits are. What draws people to prosperity profits is that they are, or they seem very noble. They say, I am sent to help other people. You know, this anointing I have is not just for me, but for you too. And they seem to be there to help other people. But when you take a closer look, you'll start to see that certain things are a little bit awry. Prosperity profits have been around for a very long time. But for me, their rise in Zimbabwe started in the early 2010s. So from 2010 going upwards is what I'm saying. The reason why they've been able to rise is that prosperity profits usually feed off of the desperation and the greed of people. What this means is that in the case of desperation, they offer or they claim to offer the relief to a lot of people's problems, and not just monetary problems. Maybe you have a family or a couple that's barren, somebody just constantly get a job, stuff like that. And they also take advantage of people's greed. For some people, what they have is not enough and they want more, more and more. So prosperity profits present an opportunity to get more than what you already have. So you can imagine that at that time that was starting to become a prevalent thing in society in Zimbabwe. You may claim that, oh, well, but there was the US dollar at that time, things were good. Things were easy, yeah, but it doesn't mean that life did not have its difficulties at all. And unfortunately, prosperity profits have been able to rise because, as we all know it, life did get harder for the average Zimbabwean since then. What I'm truly concerned about in terms of prosperity profits is the effect they have on our society. And I have 5 effects that I have observed prosperity profits to have over our society. The first effect is that the poor are exploited, or the cycle of poverty is perpetuated. Basically, what this means is that in the case of the poor, they usually look at prosperity profits as their answer out of poverty, or their way out of poverty. And like I said, prosperity profits usually require you to spend a lot of time or money investing in them in order for you to get access to their anointing or to their powers. So for a poor person, it means that taking the little money that you have and paying these prosperity profits in the hope that you will be delivered. Unfortunately, more often than not, the deliverance doesn't come. So you can imagine they are poorer for having had believed in these people. The money that they could have used to provide for their families is given to these prosperity profits with nothing in return. And so for a lot of poor people that invest in prosperity profits, their poverty is perpetuated. And not just the poor, but the needy and the desperate are exploited. If you're somebody who wants a job, who wants a child, who just wants a miracle, you want healing as well, what then happens is that you are giving with nothing in return, or with very weird results that you didn't really want or need. And unfortunately, those people are left worse than they were before. The second effect that prosperity profits have is that people start to distrust the church, especially Pentecostal churches. Most prosperity profits operate under the guise of Christianity, so they claim that they're Christian pastors and preachers, especially concerning the denomination or the Pentecostal denomination, is what I meant. And what this does is that a lot of people figure out, or from the start see through these prosperity profits. However, they don't disassociate them from the true pure church, and therefore when they begin to distrust or hate these prosperity profits, that distrust and hate crosses over and encompasses the whole church, especially those under Pentecostal denominations. In general, I think that in Zimbabwean society, Pentecostal churches garner a certain type of criticism. And so what happens with these prosperity profits, it's hard to say this, okay? I'm fighting the urge to say it. Let's just call them PPs. But the thing with prosperity profits is that because of their alleged association with the church, whatever strong feelings people have towards prosperity profits, they then begin to have strong feelings, those same strong feelings towards the church. Seeing that prosperity profits operate under the guise of Christianity or under the umbrella of Christianity, a lot of people, especially true Christians, view them as disrespectful or blasphemous to God. What this means is that if you're operating or if you are a member of any religion, there are rules or expectations in terms of that religion. Each religion has its own religious texts, its way of worship, its way of living. And what happens is that most of these prosperity prophets don't operate under those rules or don't truly preach the doctrine of those religious texts. And that's very disrespectful and blasphemous to whatever religion you belong to, including Christianity. So for a lot of Christians, these prosperity prophets are a thorn on their side. They sully or dirty the name of God and give a bad name to Christians. And ultimately, for the other effects that they have on Zimbabwean society, a lot of people just view prosperity prophets as disrespectful and just not good people. The fourth effect is that some of these prosperity prophets feed into what is called flex culture. Now, with this effect, I will link down below a video called The Dark Sides of Flex Culture by a popular YouTuber known as Tiffany Ferguson. She really delves into this topic, and so if you feel a little bit confused by this point, just go over to her video and she does a good job of explaining. Flex culture is a way of life in which you constantly show off your wealth in a non-humble way. Humility is a very strong characteristic that a lot of people try to live by, whether or not they're Christian. And for the average Zimbabwean, they try to live up to this life of humility, whether they know it or not. And so quite a lot of people are against flex culture because to them, it seems as if flex culture goes against this idea we have as Zimbabweans on how to live life properly. Flex culture also has its own negative effects in the sense that when you perpetuate flex culture, you send a message saying that it is more important to accumulate wealth and show it off and buy fancy things than to perhaps save that wealth for generations to come or just for investment and stuff like that. Whether or not these prosperity prophets are actually investing their money or saving for their generations, we don't know because they do not show that. They show their cars and their fancy jewelry and their nice suits on Instagram. That's all they show us. And unfortunately, not everyone is intelligent enough to realize that social media is only but a slice of real life. So you can imagine what type of messages these prosperity prophets are sending to society, especially to those who are impressionable, by them constantly showing off. My last point is this. These prosperity prophets openly display their greed or openly display the ways in which they take advantage of the poor. This then normalizes their practices and perpetuates the taking advantage of the smaller people in our society. I say smaller people because these are people that in general get looked over in society or are put on the sidelines in society. The poor, the desperate, the needy. So what these prosperity prophets do is that they take advantage of the helplessness of those people and say, come to us, we'll help you, and further, damage the livelihoods or the lives of these needy people. When you constantly see these prosperity prophets do what they do and succeed, a lot of people will then say, well, I too can get into this business, make a lot of money, and it's fine. Seeing that these prosperity prophets are not being punished, then I too can do what they do and not be punished. It's unfortunate because when you don't punish people for doing wrong things, even morally wrong things, you send a message that these acts are okay. It's okay to continuously take advantage of those that are helpless, of those that are defenseless. And that is a very, very bad thing, especially in terms of Zimbabwean society, because there are more and more people coming into that state of helplessness and defenselessness. Anyway, that's the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and I hope you guys were informed. Don't forget to like and to subscribe. Also, click on the notification bell so that you are notified every time I upload a video. So that you can be the first to watch, so that you can be the first to comment. Seeing that we're talking about comments, please comment down below any experiences you have had with prosperity profits. Comment what you think about this video, and let's start a conversation about some of the things that plague our society here in Zimbabwe. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Naledi_Dilena. And I hope to see you in the next video.